Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series. Today's Hot Topic, the clampdown for car makers. We're going to read quite an interesting article about how Europe is set to become the very first place on the planet to force car makers or car manufacturers to undergo real tests to reduce carbon emissions. There's a lot of talk about saving the environment, but when you actually look at the facts, maybe things that appear to be important are not nearly as far-reaching as they should be. So we're going to read this article and we'll talk all about pollution, car emissions, learn key words, work on fast reading skills. Oh, it'll be an amazing time. You'll see. Let me just get the material open for you on the screen, and we will get started. Let's see who's out there. So while I'm opening that, let me see if I can share my screen with you first. Give that a second to load. There we go. As I'm opening that, let's say hello to all of you. We've got Mr. Mikkel. Good morning, Mikkel. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Very good, very good. If only we could...
Very interesting topic today.
Yeah, I was going to say, if only we could all be avid bike tours like you, we wouldn't be having this discussion. But unfortunately, we all drive. So, yeah. But yeah, it is interesting. Let me say hello to Sabrina as well. Welcome back, Sabrina.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Very good. And then we have a new face out there. Let's see who is our new friend. Ez Adine, is that right?
Yeah. Hello.
Am I saying your name okay?
Not exactly, but
say it for me.
Yeah, it's the original one is Ezdin, but you can't.
Ezdin.
Yeah, no, with the A, you can't spell it. I think. Problem.
But say it for me.
Yeah, it's Ezdin. With the
Ezdin.
Yeah, you can't spell it. I told you.
Where are you from?
From Tunisia.
From Tunisia. Okay. Well, if you say it for me 3 times, I bet you I'll get it perfect.
Okay.
3 times.
I repeat it. Ezdin.
Ezdin.
Ezdin. Okay, it was 3 times.
Okay. But is it Ezdin or is it Ezdin?
No, it's E.
E.
Yeah.
English E? Ezdin. Okay, Ezdin. How's that? Ezdin. Yeah. It's okay?
Yeah, acceptable.
Acceptable. Oh my goodness. I'll keep practicing.
Okay. You are improving.
Thank you very much. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. Hi, welcome to class. That's what I was going to say. And Mr. Ryota as well. Welcome back, Ryota.
Hi, John. How are you?
Very good, very good. Oh, we've got a full house with Mr. Raphael. Great to see you today. How are you, Raphael?
I'm pretty fine. Thanks for asking.
Very good, excellent. And Mr. Jose, how are you?
Hello, John. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Excellent, excellent.
And you?
Oh, couldn't be better, Jose.
Yes.
Nothing could be better than this moment right now, talking to you. I'm all right. I'm all right. Let me see. Where are we going here? Let's try this, everyone. I first want to ask you a simple question. What problems do cars and other vehicles cause in cities? Oh, look, there's Shinyue. Hello, Shinyue. Come on in. What do you think, class? I know this is a stupid question, but we've got to ask it to get into the spirit.
I think
yeah.
A big problem will be the pollution. A second problem for me is the traffic. You can stuck in a traffic jam a lot of time.
You can get stuck in a traffic jam. So we've got physical pollution, right? Because of the emissions. Say again, Sabrina?
Sorry, the noise.
Noise pollution. Yep. Let me
Global
tell you.
warming.
Absolutely. How does it contribute to global warming? Zadine.
Yeah.
How does it contribute to global warming?
By the temperature.
The
Getting temperature.
pressure?
No. Okay.
Temperature.
Yeah,
Temperature.
temperature. Yeah, temperature. Sorry.
Listen to me. Temperature.
Temperature.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So, I was going to say hello to Mr. Fab, and he left already. Oh, sorry about that, Mr. Fab. I wasn't ignoring you. So, yeah, absolutely. The idea here is that we have, let's put a few words in the chat window. When you see a W, it means that it is a new or important word. The first W here is emissions. What kind of emissions? Specifically, carbon emissions, which I'm sure you all know.
Sorry, John,
Yeah.
but I can't see your chat because I'm already opened the chat icon, the one, but I can't see the.
Yeah, you've got to open the dark blue box with a V in it on the left side. It's
Okay. Thank you.
okay. Carbon emissions, and these trap sunlight as heat, and that leads to rising temperatures. And there you go. So it's not just, it says cars and other vehicles, and I think that one of the things I remember from Al Gore's presentation, remember Al Gore's documentary? I actually never saw it, but I saw parts of it, was that air travel is like 100 or 1,000 times worse than car travel for emissions. And then there's building emissions, just buildings themselves to maintain the, the internal atmosphere for the air conditioning, things like that. Anyway, we're going to focus on vehicles. So absolutely, noise pollution, physical pollution, particles of stuff and emissions, and what was the other idea we had there? Oh yeah, the congestion in the city. So traffic jams and congestion. Which
I think that there is another problem, a third problem too, because nowadays most of the cities are designed for cars, not for pedestrians or for bikes, no. And this is, I think that this is a big problem because we don't have enough space for people. I remember a research about about how many friends we have in our street, depending on the design of the street.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that we've created these anti-social cities,
For
right?
cars, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. It reminds me because when I moved from Philadelphia, where I was born, to New York City, where I lived when I was in America, I didn't need a car. In fact, it was ridiculous. The one thing I loved about it was that nobody had a car. Everyone was kind of equal. And you'd constantly, it's a very dynamic place. You meet all kinds of people and you talk to them. Where I was born, impossible. You know what I'm saying? Your friends were the people you went to school with, and you had to drive everywhere. So that's interesting. Interesting idea. Let me just say a quick hello to Mr. Mark, who's just joining us now. Mr. Mark Y. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. And
Very
you?
good, very good. Where are you from, Mark?
I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil. Okay, fantastic. Were you the one trying to join before? Someone was trying to join and they got kicked out. Was that you? Or is this your... Maybe that was someone else, because there was two Marks.
No, it is not me.
Okay. Okay, so we're having a little discussion, and then we're going to read this short article, and we're going to learn lots of vocabulary and just give our opinions. I'm going to help you as well when it comes time to give your opinion about what we read, with some key opinion connectors. Okay? And Jalena, all you need to do out there is just click the join button and come in. Plenty of, well, there's a bit of room, so come on in. Okay. Get you ready to read. I'm going to give you one of these words. Everyone's going to take one. You're going to pronounce it, and you're going to try to find the definition. You can use the paragraph indicator to help you, because you'll notice that I put a little paragraph 1, 2, 3, etc. So if you want, you can jump ahead and see if you can find the word in your paragraph. Okay? Ezadine, your word is the first word on the left. Say it for me.
Fixtural.
No, just one. Fix.
Fix. Sorry.
Just one. So I want you to start to skim through those definitions from 1 to 10. And by the way, if you need the presentation in your computer, just click on this link and you can open it in your computer. Okay? But you're going to skim through those definitions and see if you can match it to the word fix. Okay? Jose, your word is the next one on the left.
Minimize. Minimize.
No. Next one on the left. Below fix.
Below fix. Okay. Rural.
That's easy, right? Rural.
Rural.
Okay.
Rural.
See if you can match it up. Okay, Mr. Mark, I'm going to give you the next word in the second column, top second column from the left. Say that word for me.
Okay.
The third word.
Okay. Minimize.
Minimize. Repeat. Minimize.
Minimize.
Perfect. Okay, so this word is probably easy for you, but nonetheless, see if you can match it up with a definition from 1 to 10. Remember that 1 to 4 is here, and 5 to 10 is on the next slide. Okay, so if you got this open on your computer, you got to go between slides 3 and 4 to find it. Okay, next we have, by the way, quick welcome to Dawood. Nice to see you again, Dawood. Morning.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Very good, very good.
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Miko, you have the fourth word. Say it for me.
Pollution.
Perfect. Remember, the TI is a sh sound. Pollution.
Pollution.
Perfect. Okay, find the definition. That one's easy too. Raphael, yours is difficult. The fifth word. The fifth word.
Particulate.
Yeah. But it's not late. It's lits. Particulates.
Particulates.
Excellent. Okay, so find the definition. I'll come back to you in a moment. Sabrina, the sixth word.
Exhaust.
You got to put an extra kappa. Exhaust.
Exhaust.
That's it. Perfect. Okay, find the definition. I'll come back to you in a minute. Ryota, the seventh word.
Yes, so urban.
Very good. Urban.
Urban.
Perfect. Excellent. Dawood, I'm going to assign you the eighth word below urban. Say that for me.
Regulations.
Good. Okay. Mr. Ezadine, I'm going to assign you a second word, which is the last word on the top, on the right side. Say that for me.
Winging.
That's not the last. That's not the word I meant, but that's okay. We'll go with that. Pronunciation is whinging.
Whinging.
That's it. Okay, and I'll do emissions because that's easy. Okay, so all of you should be searching through those definitions from 1 to 10 to find yours. All right, on slides 4, 3, and 4. By the way, I forgot to put the answers to this on the last slide, so I have to go back later and add the answers. Okay, but I'm sure we'll figure these out as we go along. Okay, So let's go around the room and see if you matched up your definition. As the dean, fix. Where does fix go?
If you fix something, it's the fifth. If you fix something, you dishonestly arrange it so that you get the result that you want.
Very good, very good. And so fix is going to match with 5, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
what's something that we might have? What's something that might be fixed? In the media or if we're watching the news, we might find out about something was fixed. What do you think?
It means something it was fixed.
Yeah, give an example. What's something that might be fixed?
I think I heard about the cancer.
Yeah.
No, it was fixed by a doctor, and he arrived to have to predict a new medical
Procedure.
Yeah, but it's a little bit how to say it, expensive because it's a new one. So
I don't know if this is the same news that you're talking about, but there was a famous Japanese researcher. I think he was Japanese. Maybe Ryota knows this news, and he fixed the results of his studies, and he got caught, and it was really serious. I can't remember the name. It wasn't that long ago. I don't know if that's what you mean, Ezedine, but that's one example. Also, what about the global financial crisis? Housing prices were fixed. They were fixed. They were artificially low. That means, or what about the rating agencies that fixed the ratings? Like, what's the name of the agency? S&P or one of those gave a AAA rating to different financial instruments that should not have had a AAA rating. They fixed the ratings. So these are some things that come to my mind from the news. Okay, excellent. You all got the idea. Jose, rural. Where does it fit?
Rural. I think number 7. Rural means relating to towns or cities.
Towns or cities. Towns or cities. Hold on a second. Rural. But cities would be rural, though, Jose. So I think that's not right.
No,
Because,
not right.
Because it
Okay.
because it says cities.
Yes, city. Yes, cities is not rural.
Yeah.
Rural means relating to the countryside or in the countryside. Yes,
That's it.
number 10.
It's
Yes.
10. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, Mark, yours was minimize. What does that match with?
Yeah, minimize. Hold on. It is number 6. If you minimize something harmful or unpleasant, you reduce it to the smallest amount or degree.
Perfect. To minimize a threat. Exactly. Excellent. And Mikkel, yours was pollution? Oh, that's easy, right?
Yeah, it's the first one. Is the process of damaging the earth, water or land with chemicals or other substances.
Repeat 2 words for me. Damaging.
Damaging.
Good. And substances.
Substances.
That's it. Okay, not sub, but sub. Good.
Substances. Thank you.
All right. We lost Raphael, who was doing particulates. We'll come back to that. Sabrina, you were doing exhaust. What do you think, Sabrina?
I think it's number 7.
Let's see.
Sorry, H. If people are exhausted, they are complaining, particularly in a way that annoys other people.
If people are exhausted. But we don't have exhausted. We have exhaust. So we can't change the form of the word.
Exhaust.
If they're exhausted, they may be complaining.
Okay.
It's true. But here, we can't change it to exhausted. It's got to be a noun. Okay? So think about it. We'll come back to you in a second. Ryota, yours was urban?
Mm-hmm. So number 7.
Okay.
So urban means urban style, urban city, and looks like a new or recently. It's me.
So relating to cities, basically.
Yeah, city. Yes.
Excellent. Ryota, since we lost Raphael, could you do particulates as well?
Particular. I think number 4.
Number 4. Let's go back and see it. Go ahead. Read it for me.
Yes. Particulate are extremely small particles of a substance or substance, especially those that cause air pollution.
Perfect. Substance or substances?
Substance, substances.
That's it. That's it. Okay, that's it. Very good. Very good. We're on to Mr. Dawood. Dawood, yours was what? Regulations.
Regulations.
Yeah.
Regulations. Yes. Number 3.
Regulations is 3. Okay.
Are official rules that control the way that things are done.
Perfect. So we wouldn't say laws. We would say regulations for most environmental measures. There can be laws too, but probably it's regulations, which are a little different. Ezzadine, yours was whinging, right? Ezzadine? Hello, hello?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that I was talking, but the mic was muted. So sorry.
Now you're on.
Okay.
What about whinging?
Whinging.
What do you think?
I have a doubt between 1 or 2.
Between 1 or 2? Oh,
Yeah.
wait a second. 1 we already did, so it can't be 1, right?
Oh, okay. 2.
And it can't be 2, because whinging is a verb here. Whinging is a verb. So here we can't say whinging are substances because it's not a noun. It's not a thing. Okay.
It's 6.
6.
No. 8.
8 is correct. Read it for me.
Yeah. If people are whinging, they're complaining, particular in a way that annoys other people.
Okay. Pronunciation. Particularly.
Particularly.
Perfect. That's it. Whinging is like whining. What a baby does. Wah! So whinging is a way, it's similar to whining. Whinging is complaining in a really annoying way. Sabrina, yours was exhaust. What do you think now?
Exhaust is number 2.
Number 2? Give me a second. Let's go back and take a look. Read it for me.
Exhausts are substances, especially gases, that go into the air.
Exactly. Did I get them all? Did I miss anyone? Oh, emissions. Emissions. Okay. I think number 2 is better for emissions because it's plural, Sabrina. So I think number 2 is better for emissions because it's emissions, plural, are substances. And exhaust.
9.
What's 9? Yeah, there you go. Much better. Exhaust as 9. The exhaust pipe is a pipe that carries gases out of the engine's vehicle. The exhaust. So we don't always say the exhaust
That's mean pipe, please.
Pipe. Tube.
Okay.
The tube. Where do the fumes come out of your car?
Understood. Yeah.
If you picture it. Okay.
Yeah.
From the exhaust.
From the exhaust. As we read, we're going to try to answer some of these questions. Okay? So we're not going to answer them now, but you can read them now. Ryota, read the first for me.
So number 3.
Yeah, just read the first question. Let's just get these into our memory.
Okay. What is the limit for nitrogen oxide?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen oxide emissions.
Good. And Sabrina, read 2 for us.
How many cars meet the nitrogen oxide limit?
Okay, so you're going to obviously read about nitrogen oxide. That's coming up. Mikko, could you read 3 for us?
How many people die from pollution in the UK each year?
This is a very interesting question. And Mark, could you read the 4th for us?
Yeah. How many how many EU citizens are killed by air pollution each year?
Okay, excellent. So we're going to compare the UK to the EU rate. And Jose, the 5th one?
Yes. When will the real driving emission regulation apply to new types of cars?
Okay, so you're going to look for a date for this one. And Dean, could you read the 6th one for us?
When will the first real-world car emissions test begin in earnest?
In earnest? Ooh, what does that mean? To begin in earnest. That's an expression. Does anyone know what that means?
No.
Anyone, class? Any ideas?
As soon as possible?
As soon as possible. Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. In earnest, quickly, or as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read and discuss. Okay, Mr. Dawood, can you take the first paragraph?
Yes.
The little title there and the first paragraph, please.
Okay. Car makers face real-world emission test in EU pollution clampdown. Arthur Neslon, 3rd February 2015. In an attempt to reduce air pollution, Europe will become the first part of the world to force car makers to use real-world emissions tests. New regulations will introduce the tests to reveal what cars' emissions are like when driving on road and in traffic, not in ideal laboratory-like conditions, which is what happens at the moment.
Perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. Notice it says to reveal what cars' emissions are like. That could be confusing. Are like when driving. So, what's the change here, Dawood, from that paragraph? What are they going to be doing differently now than they used to do? What would you say? Is that clear what they're doing differently?
What's the question, please?
What's the change?
New regulation will introduce the test to reveal what cars' emissions.
So what should be different now? What's the change they're going to institute here?
I don't know.
The key is that sentence. What car emissions are like when driving, not in ideal laboratory conditions. So are ideal conditions real?
No.
No, they're not. Exactly. So are these tests more realistic than before or less realistic than before?
Less realistic.
More realistic. More. These new ones are more realistic. Yes. They're not idealized.
Yes.
All right, I just want to make that clear because that sentence could be confusing. So for the first time, they're going to be testing to see what actual emissions are like, not some generalized laboratory experiments. This is what's new. And I think this is what we haven't understood about emissions before. They talk about cutting out emissions, but it's all theoretical. So this seems like a big change. All right? That first paragraph is really important, so that's why I'm spending a little extra time. All right, Mr. Ryota, can you take number 2 for us?
Yes, the tests which have been approved by the European Commission are designed to enforce a limit of 80 milligram of nitrogen oxide per kilometer, a level that only one car in 16 meets. Other countries such as China and Korea, which are also considering real-world emissions tests, will be watching what happens closely.
Okay, excellent. And just for reference, a second here. You said it okay, but just for future reference,
Okay.
let's take a look at. Give me a second. Yeah, take a look at that word one more time. In the chat window, do you see it?
Nitrogen.
Yeah. So the IP, that's perfect. So the IPA symbol, the International Phonetic Alphabet symbol for I, is that little triangle and the letter and the English I together. So that symbol is exactly the sound like I, like the eye on your face.
Nitrogen.
Okay? That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so as we do this, I'll try to remind you or teach you some of the IPA symbols that are very, very helpful. Okay, excellent reading. And Sabrina, can you take it away for the next one, number 3.
Pollutants from diesel engines such as nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and
Monoxide
and particulates are believed to be responsible for at least 1/4 of the 29,000 annual pollution-related deaths in the UK alone.
Okay, very good. And just say this word one more time for me. In the chat window.
It's not diesel, it's diesel. No, diesel.
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 That's right. Not diesel, but there's a little upside down E. So this symbol, whoops, I'll try to put this in the chat window for you. 1 second. This symbol is pronounced more or less like an Diesel.
Diesel.
Good.
Diesel.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can already start to answer some of these questions. So if you know the answer, you just shout it out, or we'll come back to it a little bit later. All right. So we're on to Mr. Miko. Oh, you've got a big one, Mr. Miko.
Yes. The current new European drive cycle laboratory test for measuring emissions is a quarter of a century old. Technological developments in the car industry mean that the test is no longer good enough. Studies have shown that the results of lab techniques to measure car emission can easily be fixed. Car makers fix the results by using techniques such as taping up doors and windows to minimize air resistance, driving on unrealistically smooth roads, and test it at very high temperatures.
Very good. Say those 2 words in the chat window for me.
Laboratory.
Not exactly. Notice maybe it's a little bit laboratory. Maybe it's I gave you more of the British definition, the British pronunciation. Let me give you the American. Give me a second here. Hold on a second. Let me do that one more time. There's the
Lab
American. There's the American version where the first syllable stress. Laboratory.
laboratory, laboratory,
Yeah,
laboratory.
good.
Okay.
And the second word above Dawood's message.
Yeah. Measure,
That's it.
me
Measure.
measure,
Measure.
measure,
Good. Excellent.
measure. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Mark. You're gonna do 5 and about and halfway through 6 because 5 is really short. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. The Commission wants to introduce a new emissions testing procedure that will allow proper assessment of the vehicles in real driving, said Lucia Codet, a Commission spokesperson. One key reason why air pollution kills 400,000 citizens each year is that car markers cheat the tests for diesel cars, causing much more pollution on the road, said Greg Archer, the Clean Vehicles Manager for Transport and Environment. That's a tough one.
Environment. It's like this. Earn. Environment.
Environment.
That's it. That's it. Okay, stop there for just a second. First, I'd like you to say that word. Chat window. Is that word in the chat window for me?
Citizen.
Yeah, maybe it's so hard to see. Citizen with a Z sound. Citizen.
Citizen.
And I'll write the other one in the IPA symbols too. Let's see if that looks. Oh, you can't see it that well. Hold on a second. Let's try that one more time. It's not that easy to read. Hold on a second. There we go. Environment.
Environment.
That's it. When I say it, because I have an American accent, I say it just like I earn, like in Portuguese, eu ganho. I earn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say fast, I say it like that. Environment. But as you can see in the IPA symbols, it's in, and then the syllable that's stressed, vi, and they say run, ment. But when we say it fast, the R is kind of skipped over. Environment. Okay?
Environment.
I think you've mastered it. Jose, picking up there in the middle of 6, the development?
Yes. The development of a new real-world driving emission test is an important step forward in tackling urban air pollution. European Union states should now support the Commission's proposals and ignore the whinging from car makers that the rules are too strict.
Okay, very good. And the first word is this.
Urban, no?
Not
Urban.
urban. Urban. There you go.
Urban.
Because you're trying to put a y, but there's no y. It's just
Urban.
Very
Urban.
good.
Okay.
Okay, and one last one. It's a difficult new word.
Yeah.
Take a look at that.
Whinge.
It's a little smoother. Whinge.
Whinge. Whinge.
Not whinge, but whinge.
Whinge. Whinge. Yes.
That's better. That's better. So even though it's got an E at the end, that letter E is silent. And you just, that's it. That's it. Very good. Okay, very good. Very good. Take it away. We're back to Mr. Ezzedine for number 7.
According to research by the International Council on Clean Transportation in 2014, actual nitrogen oxide emissions from cars are 7 times higher than the 18 mega per kilometer standard, with some types of cars 20 times above the recommended limit.
22 times.
22 times above the recommended limit. Only one car out of 16 meter the 18 mg target. Around one-third of all nitrogen oxide pollution comes from road transport, mostly diesel, and in cities concentration can be as high as 64%, according to European Environment Agency data.
That's it. Very good. All right. And Ryota, why don't you finish it up for us? I think this is the last one. Let me just double check. Oh,
Yes.
no, it's not the last one. Sorry. You're back to you for number 8.
8. Okay. Campaigner says that the car industry has tried to delay reform to car test cycle, but industry groups deny this. They argue that a 5-year delay is necessary for technical and economic reasons. Really driving emissions, RDE is a total new regulation that will force significant changes to cars, said Cara McLaurin, a spokesperson.
It's probably McLaughlin. Probably,
McLaughlin.
It's not obvious the way it's written, but I think it's actually, hold on a second. Let me think.
Okay.
I'm trying to think how you say the name. McLaughlin. It's either McLaughlin or McLaughlin. You can pronounce it in different ways. Anyway, don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay. A spokesperson for the European Automobile Manufacturers Association (ACEA). However, ACEA fully accepts that RDE will apply to new types of car from September 2017.
Okay, very good. I just want to point out 2 very common words. So take a look at the chat window.
Okay. Said.
There's 2. So you've got
say.
Yeah, say, S-A-Y. But when you put an S, it changes to says.
Says.
That's right. And of course, you've got the past tense, which is said.
Said.
You've got say, says, said.
Say, said, said.
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 That's right. Okay, so use those IPA symbols to help you. Okay?
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Sabrina, number 9.
ACEA sent the European Commission their own draft regulation for consideration, after EU representatives finally agreed a regulation to implement the nitrogen oxide limits with strengthened.
It's difficult.
I agree.
We'll come back to it in a minute.
Okay. Strict road trials and strict monitoring of exhausted fumes. ACA's draft regulation would have covered fewer pollutants and delayed the regulation's introduction until 2020.
2020.
2020.
2020.
Sorry, I didn't listen.
2020.
2020.
Yeah, I need to hear the E at the end. 2020.
2020.
Good.
Test distance would have been shortened from 1,300 meters to below 700 meters. Minimum temperatures would have been raised from
minus 7.
Okay, minus 7 degrees to -3 degrees and more of Celsius, and more rural roads would have been used.
Okay, very
So
good.
sorry. A
Look
lot
at
of
this. Look at those two words. The last two.
Stringent.
No, it's not G. That end with a hook means that you make the N sound through your nose and you use the very back of, you use your throat to close. Thin.
Strengthen.
Good.
Okay.
That's it. And the last one?
Induction.
Oh, wait, was that what you said? No, it wasn't induction. No, it was introduction. That's what. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I wrote the wrong word. Introduction. Because when you said it, I think you said introduction.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I heard.
Introduction.
And the IPA looks like this. Introduction.
Introduction.
Excellent. Okay, Mr. Mikkel, the last one for us, number 10.
The ECEA.
The
ACEA. Yeah, ACEA draft was rejected by the Commission. The new regulation will not pass to commissioners for approval before an expected introduction in September by, we can say here 2016 or 2017, sorry.
2017.
2017, but 2017 is correct too? Or?
Yeah, but no one's going to say it because once you get out of the 2000s, we just break it into twos. So this is 2015, that's 2017.
Okay, so by 2017, the first real-world CO2 emission tests are expected to begin in earnest. The introduction of the EU's new emission tests will be watched closely around the world.
Is it introduction or introduction?
Introduction, sorry.
Introduction.
Introduction.
All right, very good. So earlier I asked you some information questions. Let's see if you can answer them. What is the limit for nitrogen oxide emissions? Does anyone know?
80 milligrams or...
Very good. That's it. 80 milligrams per kilometer. Fantastic. How many cars meet the nitrogen oxide limit?
One
today?
car in 16.
Fantastic. Oh, you're all paying attention. How many people die from pollution in the UK each year? I think, Sabrina, that was your paragraph, if I remember right.
400,000.
200,000.
How much?
400,000.
200,000.
29,000.
Yeah, it's 29. Yeah. For the UK, 29,000. That's a lot of people. For the EU, it's 400,000.
400.
Okay, and think about the size of the EU compared to the UK. It seems disproportionate. Number 5. When will the real-world driving emissions regulations apply to new types of cars?
September 2017.
Or 2017.
Yes. 2017. Yes.
And when will the first real-world emission tests begin in earnest? Nico, you know this one.
2014.
Nico, is he right? Nico? Nico's asleep.
No, it wasn't 2017? No.
It was 2017. Yeah. 2017 for 5 and 6. All right. So now I want to ask you what you think. My first what you think question, I've only got one down there. Just a second. Is this. Well, we can talk about these or we can talk in, freely, whatever you want. But my questions for you are, should cars be banned from city centers? Because here in Lisbon, where I live, that's what they've done. Not banned. In Rome, I remember, not Rome, Rome I can't remember, but in other Italian cities, I know that cars are banned, like in Milan, places like that. And they've banned here in Lisbon cars that were manufactured that are more than 10 years old or something like that are not allowed into the city, or it's not allowed into the center. So I assume that has something to do with emissions. What do you think? Should we just ban cars, at least from the city centers?
For me, yes, I think it would be a good idea for cutting down the pollution
Or cutting down the emissions?
or cutting down the emissions.
Mhm.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you agree with that, class?
Yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
private cars, no? I think that it's different cars for medical use or for maybe taxis. I don't know. It's different. I think that it's different, no? But private, the main problem I think that is are private cars.
Private cars. Sabrina?
I think depends because if the city is very big,
Mhm.
it's difficult to do this because people need to walk, so they don't like this.
What city do you have in mind?
New York,
Oh, New York, you don't need cars. Forget it. Absolutely
yes,
unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Trust me.
unnecessary.
I live there. You don't need it. Absolutely unnecessary. There's no reason to have not even taxis.
Yeah. And French also, Paris.
Yeah. I mean, because you've got the metro, right?
Yeah.
In New
They
York.
don't need the cars.
Yeah, I don't see any, and it just seems like it does not. I mean, imagine that in Paris. Paris has such beautiful streets.
Yeah.
Imagine that it was just people walking everywhere,
Yeah.
walking through the Arc de Triomphe.
I think the Gulf countries need cars.
Why is that?
Because it's hot weather, especially in summer,
Mm-hmm.
and they need cars not for going to places only, but just to be in a cold place, you know.
So you're talking about like Dubai and those places, like
Yeah.
those cities, yeah.
KSA also, yeah.
But doesn't that defeat the purpose of? I mean, isn't that just adding to the problem? Because I'm saying, can't you just be indoors in those places when it's?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I understand what Sabrina's saying, but I was thinking like New York. Everyone walks everywhere, and well, what about this? Let's take a look at the second question. Maybe this goes back to what Miko was saying as well. What if we only had electric cars, and maybe inside of a big city like New York, all the taxis were just little autonomous robot taxis, you know, and zero emission cars, and personal cars were banned. Believe me, the traffic in New York, you can't get across the bridge. I remember this. It would take me 10 minutes to go from New Jersey to New York when I was driving. And at rush hour, when I was leaving, it would take me 2 hours to go through the same bridge. It's that many cars trying to get out. Manhattan wasn't built for having 10 million people exit. There's 20 million people in the city. 10 million are commuters. Half the population leaves at between 5 and 7 at night. 10 million people trying to get out. It's a nightmare, and it happens every day. So what do you think about that, Miko? What if we banned private cars and we had zero emission cars? If you have a zero emission electric car you can drive, maybe. Not everyone's going to have one. And maybe just taxis. I don't know. What do you think about this idea of electric cars?
Maybe it could be a good solution for taxis, no? But if all cars are electric, yes, we don't have one problem, but we have another one. The problem is the space. We don't have enough space for too many cars, no?
Well, electric cars don't need those massive engines. Maybe they take up less space.
I think
the space is more or less the same. No?
I think we've got a problem of electricity.
How so?
Reducing.
So, can't we get electricity from solar and wind? Is it impossible?
Yeah. I've heard about sun sun cars. It's work with the sun.
Mm-hmm. Like there's lots of sun in KSA, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I swear there's some kind of cars like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never understood why since I was a kid, even before even before global warming was talked about. By the way, when I was a kid, global warming was talked about. In the 1970s, it was talked about, but no one knew it was going to be a big problem this fast in this way. Oh, that was since about the late 80s. But even then, there were electric cars when I was a kid. I remember this. I've never understood why we don't put all of our energy into solar power. I mean, it's what makes the planet, it's what gives us all the energy we have, except for a little bit of geothermal. So why don't we just use that? Does anyone know what the problem is?
No.
Me neither.
The car industry is very, very important. You can't forget it.
I think now in Spain the gas has a lot of taxes. I think the government will be interested in this kind of in this kind of
Solution?
in this kind of solution.
And
Yes.
in Spain, the government is against this kind of energy because we have a lot of
Yes.
taxes. If we want to put a solar panel or in our
Yes.
house, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
for example, we have to pay
Right.
to put it. So it's something that I can understand.
But what's the logic there exactly? So the taxes, I don't understand. They can tax anything, Nico, right?
Yes.
They can tax anything they want. So if they want to earn revenue, why can't they can tax solar power and they can still earn their revenue? So what's blocking the movement towards solar in Spain?
I think that is not only in Spain. I think that there is a big lobby of
Yes.
the car industry and the energy industry, no, that is going just in the opposite way, no?
Oil industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, think about this. If we stop producing cars, does the world economy collapse? I mean, that's such a major industry. What do you think?
Don't forget bikes. You can you can start creating new bikes, and it's a very big industry too.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
It's not in the main. It's not the main measure than the car industry, but could be.
But cars can cost from 20,000 to 300,000, and bikes don't cost that, and they don't cost that much to manufacture. You see what I mean? If you could sell a bike for $20,000, yeah, absolutely. Ryoto, where do you live? I can't remember exactly where you're located.
So yeah, I live in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, right. And where did you live before you moved to the States?
In Tokyo, in Japan.
Tokyo is a crowded place, isn't it?
Yeah, so they use common so transportation for bus and train and subway. So they use a lot. So they don't have a car in Tokyo because so many people there, maybe 20 million people in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
Yeah, it's very crowded. So they use
So cars are banned in the city? Is that right?
No bandit, but yeah, they don't have a car, so they use a public transportation.
Oh, so people choose.
Yeah,
they just choose.
Yeah, choose.
See.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So we have to start the next class. But what do you think the solution is? I want you to think about that. If you have a solution, tell me now.
Bikes.
Bikes are the solution.
Bikes, yes.
Of course.
Yeah, bicycle.
I agree.
It's
a
clean transport.
What about horses? Horses are
And you
nice.
do exercise when you ride a bike.
That's true. That's true. It's a little hard to exercise in your car. All right. So everyone, write to your politician, okay, after class, and let's see if we can change the regulations. Okay, that's your homework.
Okay.
Start writing angry letters. I'll be back in just a minute for our business class. We're going to pick up what we started on Monday, which is the art of the pitch. You're going to be selling toothbrushes and many other things in the next class. I'll be back in just a minute for that. Stick around if you want. Tomorrow I'll be back for 2 hours from 10 to 12 GMT for advancing idioms and also our grammar garage about reported speech. Bye for now. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.